Hello ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to finish up chapter 14 with section 14.8, solving fractional equations. What you're going to see different today are variables in the denominator. We didn't have that in the last 2 days. Variables in the denominator, that creates a unique situation. It is possible that if x is equal to 0, then 1 over x becomes 1 over 0, which is impossible. You're not allowed to divide by 0. Okay? That is undefined. Every single one of these problems with variables in the denominator are going to have values that make the equation undefined. If you get that for an answer, and listen, I haven't even touched the problem yet, so I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what x is going to be, but I do know if it's 0, I have to reject that answer. So it is possible today when solving these problems, you're going to reject some answers. We're going to do the same thing we've been doing the last couple of days. I'm going to multiply by the least common denominator, which in this case is 6x. You'll notice I got that by multiplying all the denominators together. That's probably not the best way to do things when there's variables in the bottom, but for this particular problem it works fine. Alright, so I'm going to get 6x over 3 and a 6x over x and a 6x over 2. Now I reduce the fractions. 3 goes into 6 2 times. Here the x's cancel out. 2 goes into 6 3 times. So look at that. Fractions are gone. X's shift around a lot. The variables are going to move all over the place because you're multiplying by the least common denominator, and that's okay. Just be real clean about what you're doing. Be neat with your work, and you should get to a final answer, which in this case is x equals 6. Now, if x is 0, number 1 is undefined. That doesn't play because x is 6. So we take the answer, it works, it's fine. Alright, problem 2. Now in problem 2, I have two different variable terms on the bottom. 3d, I want to know when it's going to be 0, and 6d, I also want to know when it's going to be 0. There is a possibility that you'll have more than one value for d that'll make this silly thing undefined. Easiest way to do it, take the denominators, set them equal to 0, and then solve for the indicated variable. D is equal to 0 here. D is equal to 0 here. Those values make the equation undefined and have to be rejected. I don't have to bother to do that if I don't get D equals 0 for an answer. I have no idea what the answer is going to be. I'm just trying to be smart here and think about this ahead of time. And most students fall down because they don't bother to think about it. Alright, if I have a D in my least common denominator, it'll cancel all those D's out from the bottom. You don't want to use D squared here. Just use the smallest thing that you could possibly use to get rid of the D's. 3, 6, and 4 all go into 12. So if I multiply by 12D, I'm going to be in good shape. Alright, so I get 24D over 3D. I get 12D over 3. Over here, I get 11 times 12, which is 132. Did that ahead of time. 132D. And then minus 12D over 4. Okay? So I'm going to pre-reduce, and you'll notice this real nice. D's are going to cancel out. 3 goes into 24 8 times, so I have an 8 left over. 3 goes into 12 4 times, so this becomes 4D. Here the D's cancel. 6 goes into 132 22 times. And then 4 goes into 12 3 times, and you have a minus 3D. Alright, so we got the little extra here. We'll clean that up. Great. So now the rule is move the smallest variable term. So I'm going to add 3D to both sides. So I get 8 plus 7D is equal to 22. Subtract 8. I get 7D is equal to 14. And D is equal to 2. Now, if d was equal to 0, I would have to reject the solution because it would make the equation undefined. However, d is equal to 2 and everything works out great. It is glorious. All right, let's take a look at number 3 here. So, if x is 0, it's going to make the equation undefined. If 2x is equal to 0, it's going to make the equation undefined as well. That happens when x is equal to 0. So, these are the values that will make the equation undefined. Got to do it. Think about it ahead of time. My least common denominator is 2x, so I'm going to multiply both sides. How did that just change color? That's magic. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2x. Here, I'll switch to blue. So 2x times 30 is 60x. 2x times 7 is 14x. And 2x times 18 is 36x. And that's what I get. Okay. Here the x's cancel. So I squiggle them out so you can see them being canceled. The 14x comes down. Doesn't have a denominator. Here the x's get canceled. And 2 goes into 36 18 times. So you get an 18. Look how easy the equation becomes once you get rid of those fractions. It's 2 steps away from being done. Alright, so 60 minus 18 is 48. Alright. That's not right. I subtracted wrong. How about we do this? How about it's 42? Ooh, gotta check your work, huh? Wow. Divide by 14. We get x equals 3. Okay, we check our danger side over here. X equals 0 is the bad answer. It doesn't happen. So x equals 3 is fine. Box it up and we'll keep it. It's delightful. We'll keep it. Alright, problem 4 here. Well, now we're back to our equal sign. We have a proportion. But before we do that, 2y is in the denominator. We want to know when it's equal to 0. It is equal to 0 when y equals 0. This will make the equation undefined. So keep that in mind. Alright, here we go. Cross multiply. We got 2y times 3 on one side. Here we have 8 times y minus 2 on the other side. Alright, that's 6x. This is 8y minus 16. I'm going to subtract 8y from both sides. Negative 2y is equal to negative 16, and then I'll divide by negative 2. Get y equals 8. Y equals 8 is not one of the danger answers, so we can keep it. The problem is lovely. Alright, number 5 here. We need to consider our undefined values. When 2y is equal to 0, it's undefined, so that's when y equals 0. On the other side, when y equals 0 also, these are the values that make the thing undefined. Okay, so I figure that out first. I'm not waiting to do that. That's not a good idea to wait. So we don't need this for now. Let's move it. Ooh, come on, work with me. Work with me now. We're going to move that, get that out of the way, so I can solve this delightful problem. All right, here we go. The least common denominator is 2y. So I've got 2y times y plus 9 over 2y. I have 2y times 3, which is 6y. And I have 2y times 15, which is 30y over y. The reason I didn't distribute is because you can see here the 2y's are going to cancel out, so that's just y plus 9. The 6y comes down. Here the y's cancel, so I'm left with 30. I have 3 terms on the left side of the equal sign. 6y and 1y are like terms. So we'll add those up. I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. 7y is equal to 21. When I divide by 7, I get y equals 3. Pretty straightforward problem. Alright. So when y equals 0, the equation's undefined, but because I didn't get that for an answer, I don't have to worry about it. Alright, check it out here. I got 6x. When that's equal to 0, it's undefined. So that's when x equals 0. That happens. 5x is equal to 0 makes the equation undefined. that happens when x is equal to 0. So these are my undefined values. Keep those in your back pocket. I don't think they're going to be a problem in here, but you just never know. Alright, so least common denominator is 30x. We're going to multiply by 30x. So this gives me 30x times that binomial over 6x. 3 times 30x is 90x. And 30x times 1, of course, is just 30x. Okay? Alright, I'm going to do some reducing here. Let's see. The x's cancel. 6 goes into 35 times, so I'm left with 5 times 2 plus x. 5 goes into 90 18 times. Here the x's cancel out, so that's an 18. Here the 30s cancel out, but that x doesn't go anywhere. So we distribute. Move the smallest variable term. And we just keep motoring along here. Subtract 10. So 4x is equal to 8. Divide by 4. And x is 2 is the answer. If x was 0, we'd have to reject it. We do not get that for an answer, so we're good. We are good. Okay. Alright, problem 7. We're back to a binomial here, but keep in mind you do have this denominator. If b is equal to 0, that is undefined, so I have to keep that in mind. Alright, I'm going to cross multiply then. Going one way, I get 1 times 2. The other way, b times b minus 1. I have to distribute on the right side. That's b squared minus b, and that's a quadratic equation. I have to set that equal to 0 because it has to be factored to be solved. We haven't seen a factoring problem in a little while. Let's make our puzzle here. This is a trinomial. A times c is 1 times negative 2. B is negative 1. Factors of negative 2 that add up to be negative 1 are negative 2 and positive 1. So this becomes b squared minus 2b plus b minus 1. Nope. That's supposed to be c here. Minus 2. Factor the GCF out. I'm only going to take a 1 out here because I don't want to change it. And I can gather up here. So I have b minus 2 common to both terms. A b plus 1 left over. I make my t-chart. b is 2. That's an answer. b equals negative 1 is an answer. Now, going back up, if b was equal to 0, I'd have to reject it as it would be undefined. That does not happen. I get b equals 2 and b equals negative 1, so I'm in good shape. Okay? Alright, problem 8. Things are going to get a little bit tougher, as you saw. We had to factor for problem 7. First things first, when a minus 1 is equal to 0, the equation is undefined. That happens when a equals 1, so I'm going to remember this is the value that makes it undefined. So if I get 1 for an answer, I have to reject it. Alright, let's see here. Least common denominator. Whew. 6 and 12 would be taken care of by a 12. I also have to have an a minus 1. So I'm going to make the least common denominator 12 times a minus 1. Okay? So I'm going to multiply the first fraction times 12 times a minus 1. I'm going to multiply the second fraction 12 times a minus 1. And I'm going to multiply the last fraction times 12 times a minus 1. That's running out of room, but do my best here. So I'm going to multiply all that stuff together. Yikes. That doesn't happen here, though. Look at it. They just cancel out. I get a 12. 6 goes into 12 2 times, so this becomes 2a minus 2. And then all this fun I have to do here. Well, let's see. A minus 1 times a minus 2, or a plus 2 rather. First, outer, inner, last. So if I multiply all that by 12, well, I don't have to multiply by 12, do I? Because these are going to cancel out. So actually, that's all I need. A squared plus A minus 2. All right, clean up the garbage on the left side. 12 minus 2 is 10. This is quadratic, so I'll subtract 2A from both sides. Subtract 10 from both sides. It's set equal to 0. That's a 12. A little bit messy. And it's ready to be factored. Okay? So, how much room do I have? Very little. Holy guacamole! So I do my puzzle. C is negative 12, or A times C is negative 12. Negative 1 is B. Well, 4 times 3 is 12, and if 4 is negative, I'll be in good shape here. So, A squared minus 4A plus 3A minus 12. So I take an A out, that's A minus 4. I take a 3 out, that's A minus 4. So I get 0 is equal to A minus 4 times A plus 3. So my roots are negative 3 and 4. Remember, if A is equal to 1, this thing is undefined. I don't get that. So we're in good shape. All right, a word problem. When the reciprocal of a number is decreased by 2, so we'll let x equal a number. The reciprocal of x would be 1 over x. It's decreased by 2. The result is 5. Find the number. Well, we're going to multiply everything by x. That's the only denominator there is. If we get 0 for an answer, it's going to be undefined, so I want to keep that in mind. X over x minus 2x equals 5x. X over x, of course, is just 1. So 1 minus 2x is equal to 5x. Okay. We add 2x to both sides. We get 1 equals 7x. And we divide by 7. X is equal to 1 over 7. So that's a crazy looking answer. I'll pause a second and take a look at it. Okay, so now I have this down. I don't see a mistake, so here's the deal. If I take the reciprocal of 1/7, what do I get? Yeah, I get 7. And if I decrease that by 2, I get 5. So it's done correctly. It's fine. All right, so that was our notes, 9 examples of how to deal with this stuff here. No undefined problems in our examples. We'll see if any sneak up on us on the assignment. Have a good day. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow.